Webflow and Wix Studio are two website builders used to design and publish professional sites. This video compares both to find the best option for agencies and web designers. While both enable no-code building, they differ in design control and pricing. We analyzed integration, setup time, and long-term use, plus one key area to see which performs better. By the end, you'll know which platform suits your agency best. Section 1, Design Control. Who actually gets more creative freedom? Let's start with what most designers care about, the design control. Webflow and Wix Studio handle design control in completely different ways, and that difference matters a lot, depending on how you work. Webflow gives you a visual editor that works like real CSS. You can control margins, padding, typography, animations, and layout with the kind of precision that used to require writing code by hand. Every element on the page responds to your exact input. If you want a section to look a certain way on a specific screen size, you can set it manually and it stays exactly where you put it. That level of control is rare in a no-code tool. Wix Studio approaches design differently. It uses a grid-based drag-and-drop system that is faster to work with but gives you less precision. You can add custom CSS and animations, and the responsive AI design feature automatically adjusts your layout for different screen sizes without you touching a single breakpoint manually. For a lot of agencies, that automatic responsiveness is a genuine time saver. That said, here's the real difference. Webflow rewards people who think like designers or developers. Wix Studio rewards people who need to move fast. If you have ever felt constrained by a template and wanted to move a single element 2 pixels to the left, Webflow will let you do that. Wix Studio may not. But if you're building 10 client sites a month and need each one to look polished without spending hours on breakpoints, Wix Studio gets you there faster. Now that we've covered how each platform approaches design, let's talk about what it actually costs to use them. Section 2, Pricing and Plans. What you actually pay as you grow. Webflow and Wix Studio both charge per site. Webflow's site plans start at $14 a month for the basic plan, but that plan only covers 150 pages and doesn't have CMS features. To manage dynamic content, you need the CMS plan at $23 a month. The business plan costs $39 a month and gives you 300 pages, 10,000 CMS items, and 100 gigabytes of bandwidth. Each site you manage for a client needs its own paid plan. Wix Studio charges per site as well. The basic plan runs $12 a month and gets you a free domain and 10 gigabytes of storage. Solid enough for a simple brand site. Step up to standard at $20 and you get 50 gigabytes of storage and the ability to accept payments. The Plus plan at $32 bumps that up to 120 gigabytes and supports up to 10 collaborators, which can be useful for small teams. Then there is the Elite plan at $149 a month, built specifically for agencies. Unlimited storage, 100 site collaborators, 10 million CMS items, and dedicated data infrastructure. At first glance, Wix Studio looks cheaper on the low end, but once you start stacking multiple client sites, the cost on both platforms can really climb at a similar rate. Now the real question is what you're getting for that money as you scale. Webflow's business plan includes stronger CMS architecture and cleaner code output. Wix Studio's Elite plan gives you more collaborators and more raw CMS volume. Clearly, neither platform is cheaper for an agency managing a large portfolio. What matters is which features your clients actually need. That covers the pricing and plans for both platforms. If you've already decided which one you want, you can find the links for Webflow and Wix Studio in the description. These links help support the channel at no extra cost to you. Both platforms offer free plans that you can start on right now with no credit card required. Now, let's compare the integrations and external connections of Webflow and Wix Studio. Section 3, Integrations and External Connections. How well do they work with other tools? Webflow and Wix Studio both connect to outside tools, but they do it differently. Webflow has a public REST API that lets developers pull or push data between your site and other platforms. It connects natively with Zapier, Make, and supports webhooks, which means you can automate tasks across your entire workflow without writing any code. The API is available starting from the CMS plan. If you're on the basic plan, you do not get access to API. Wix Studio uses the Wix app market. There are hundreds of apps covering bookings, marketing, payments, and more. Many of those are free, but the more powerful ones carry their own monthly fees on top of your existing plan. So for teams that rely on a specific tech stack, Webflow's open API approach gives you more flexibility. For teams that want simple, one-click connections without thinking about APIs, Wix Studio's app market is easier to navigate. Neither platform charges extra for the integrations themselves, but third-party tools on both sides have their own pricing. Beyond integrations, the next thing to consider is how quickly you can launch. Section 4. Setup time and the learning curve. How long before you can actually build? The first week on each platform feels nothing alike. With Wix Studio, a new user can have a working site live within a few hours. The guided setup walks you through the basics, the AI builder generates a starting layout from a short description, and the template library covers most common use cases. You do not need to understand CSS, box models, or Flexbox to get a clean result on day one. Webflow takes longer. Most new users need at least 10 to 30 hours of practice before they can build something they're proud of. The interface is built around concepts from front-end development. And if you've never worked with those ideas before, the learning curve is real. Webflow University, which is free, is almost required reading before you start your first project. The trade-off is straightforward. The time you spend learning Webflow pays back over the long run through faster builds and better output. The time you save with Wix Studio on day one does not always scale as cleanly when your projects get more complex. And that's exactly where long-term use starts to matter. Section 5. Long-term daily use. Does the work stay easy after 3 months? As of today, both platforms have large, active user bases who work in them every day, and both hold up well under regular use. Webflow becomes noticeably more productive after the learning curve clears. Reusable components mean that updating a header or a button style across an entire site takes seconds instead of hours. Wix Studio remains fast and consistent for standard builds. The drag and drop never becomes harder to use over time. Where users hit friction is on larger, more custom projects. Structural limits in the editor can force workarounds that add time to otherwise simple tasks. If you're running a high-volume agency with mostly straightforward sites, you might never run into that issue. But if you're constantly pushing creative limits, you probably will. So with all these in mind, let's break down which platform actually makes more sense, depending on how you work. Section 6. Who should pick which platform? The final verdict. Webflow is the right choice if you're a designer or developer who wants full control over your output, needs a strong CMS for content-heavy sites, and is willing to invest time in learning the platform. It's also the stronger option for teams that need to connect their site to a custom tech stack using API access. Wix Studio is the right choice if you run an agency that builds a high volume of client sites, needs to move fast, and wants AI tools and responsive design handled automatically. It's also the better fit if your clients need built-in e-commerce with no transaction fees and simple payment setup. Both platforms offer free plans, so there's really no reason not to try them out before deciding. I hope you found this video helpful. The best way to support the channel is to use the links in the description. Thanks for watching.